Olá a todos, bem-vindos a mais um Word of Human. Hoje vai ser boeda diferente, é uma cena que não tem nada a ver com nada, mas é uma pessoa que eu conheço também. E como este projeto é um projeto egoísta, de mim a falar com as pessoas, pronto, agora temos aqui outra pessoa. Mas a conversa vai ser em inglês, porque ela é russa, e eu russo não sei falar, portanto...
Mas eu falo português um pouco, mas prefiro falar inglês.
Pronto, ok, então é isto. É Katya ou Catarina?
Sim, igual.
Olá.
Olá, tudo bem?
Tudo bem? It's been a long time.
Yes.
We were just talking before we started, maybe it's been 10 or 9 years since we met.
Yes.
Very randomly, because I was working and you were part of this
Sailing,
startup thing.
Yes.
And for some reason we just connected, and eventually every now and again, hey, how are you, and stuff like that.
Yeah, can you imagine? Sometimes you just maintain relationships that probably was not like too deep or too intense, but you still carry it through the years. It's very nice.
It's very nice. It's very interesting because, well, first of all, I like to connect with people in many different ways. You know, it doesn't need to be super deep. Maybe there's just something energetically or something just unconsciously you connect to the person. And here we are, 9 years later. I'm at your place, lovely place, and we're gonna talk about your life and what attracts me to your thing is the fact that you are a very proactive woman. So you're always looking for challenges, and that's what we're gonna talk about basically. So when I met you, was it the first time you were doing business? Or
I was corporate before, pretty much.
Okay.
Since university times, I started to work like serious jobs, and I think now I look younger and more relaxed when I was in the university
10 years later,
times.
I can tell you have not aged one bit.
Thank you.
It's disgusting. I envy you so much. I have so much envy.
Yoga, you know?
Yoga.
That's yoga.
I need to get into yoga. Yeah.
Yeah, so then when I moved to Portugal, that was a new stage of life for me, and I decided to start something new. First of all, also not like I decided, I didn't speak Portuguese that much, and to go corporate again was quite challenging.
Right.
I was trying to find a job in international companies, but it didn't work that well. So I decided first to go to study MBA. So
Right.
I went to this Católica in Nova, but then I decided that I'm the one that learned by doing things. So then I was thinking, instead of investing this time and money to study, I better start something here, and I started a startup that was social media for Russian-speaking people living abroad, and we wanted to start from Portugal.
Right.
And then we won like a best international startup of Lisbon. We were a part of Lisbon connecting people, something Lisbon startup Lisbon by Better Eye.
Yeah.
That was
exactly.
really nice thing. We've got an office in Roa de Prata. It was like very nice, but we a little bit then. That was some challenges, so we refocused. I kept the team, and we started to work for sailing.
Okay.
That what became my passion, and I really seen that everything you do in life, you need to go with your passion, with things you like.
Yes.
I was just writing for Cosmopolitan Russia, and they sent me to write an article what every girl should know about sailing.
Oh, okay.
So I like it. Only now I understand on what kind of event I came and what kind of people I was talking. You know, it was like a Olympic champions, like winners of America's Cup and Volvo Ocean Race sailing around the world. And I came like it was 2008 or 2009, I think. Hello, I'm Cosmopolitan Russia. What every girl should know about sailing. And what was really funny that some of them were saying like, oh, this is the hull, this is the mast, this is the sail. And one of the very famous sailor, he was actually painting me like this is the boat, how it's like a keel and how the wind goes. And very interesting. Some were like making jokes that girls should only know that high heels on a boat is not allowed. But one person, he told, you will never understand unless you try. And they took me on board.
Right.
So people who know a little bit about weather and sailing, we started, that was 13 knots. We came back, it was 25 knots. It was like full storm, and I was first time ever on a racing sailing boat during the race. And I was like super wet when they tack. I didn't understand that I need to also to change sides, so I was like in the water. They were like, oh God, she will never come back. And I understood that it's what I want to do in my life. And then I was thinking, I'm already know, like I will never become a professional sailor, right? So like, how can I be connected to this world? I started to write about it as I had writing experience to Cosmopolitan before, more about those stuff, but then I started to write professional for Yacht Russia. It's a franchisee of German magazine. And then one of my colleagues made it to the cover, and they were like, oh, why do you only do writing? Do pictures. So that's how I started to be a photographer.
Okay.
I just took the camera, I didn't even study. I just was doing like,
Really?
okay, what I can do, what to see. And only later on I started to study, to learn more and so on. So that's my story, how I became a photographer on that days when we met.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Like that's what I've been kind of saying in other topics or other conversations, that in terms of like what you do, sometimes it's not in this case you study before or not, or maybe being talented or not. It's just a matter of doing it consistently, or having the right opportunity, being there at the right time, and then you start doing it. And always, or almost always, I would say 99.9% of the times, the work that is recognized is the work that is done. Not because you are special, it's because you do the work. And that for me is more valuable, because when you do the work, you become special anyways.
Yeah.
Right? So the talent sometimes doesn't mean anything. There are many people that are trusting on their talent, but if they don't apply, they don't do anything. So.
Or you wait for too long, you want to study, and you better start doing it, and then in the process. But different things works for different people. Like I would say from yoga even, right? Like for example, Ashtanga philosophy, that you do the Surya Namaskars 1,000 times, and then you will perfect yourself when it's like 1,005th time, right? But then Iyengar, you will do one asana for years until you're perfect in it. So it's yoga, both of them, right? But then it's different approach, and what works for some, they want like physically, they will push through the result, but another will slowly work, like this should be like this, there should be lines, use props, dops, and this is different. That's why people, for example, if we try to make a parallel into yoga, some do in Ashtanga, some do in Iyengar, some do only meditation. So it's, and it's all yoga.
And it's all yoga. True. Very true. Okay, so we're gonna get to the yoga, of course, but after the photography, what happened? Because then I kind of lost you. You went out of the country, and I don't know what happened.
We moved to India. So
you from Portugal straight to India?
Straight to India.
Right. Okay. I think I'm starting to remember. Please continue.
Yeah, we moved to India. I've got a big project also with photography. I was working with Save the Children. It's a foundation that is actually what they do. They try to invest money from abroad to help Indian people, like underprivileged kids and like poor villages and so on. And sometimes they need to have internal communication materials like photography or videography to show, for example, to sponsors in America that, for example, this school was built or these toilets were in this village were actually delivered and so on. And my husband also got the job offer there, so we both moved there, and we spent there 5 years.
5 years.
But 3 first years was crazy for me because I still had my sailing contracts,
Right.
and we were living in Delhi, and it was so many flights for me.
But
like,
you were coming back to Portugal or to
Europe.
Europe.
I mean, even when I lived here in Portugal, a lot of competitions, of course, coming here to Cascais, right? But that was a lot in Spain, in France, in Switzerland, like basically all over. But then it was like these 2 years I had to complete the sailing contracts, and to be honest, I counted, I never been longer than 1 week in stretch at home.
Really?
Because before you can go for 2 days to Spain, you come back here, you see the family 2 days, and then you continue. But then if the flight is like 9 hours, 12 hours, it's like forget about coming for 2 days, no?
For sure. For sure. So was it in, of course it was, but were you already interested in yoga before India, or in India that door opened up and then you started exploring?
I practiced yoga when I was in university.
Right.
Like I will try to cut the story short. I was studying, you will be surprised by my English, but I'm actually by my first diploma a teacher of English, and one of the that I like. Let's not go to this topic because during the university times we never saw a foreigner. You know, this is kind of what kind of language you can speak when you don't. We are exposed to foreign language. One of the teachers we had, he was super old and he didn't hear too much.
Okay.
And he was giving us a little part of the lectures, and he was very respectable guy. And it was his last patch in the university, and our dean told us, please go to his classes. He is very respectable. It's his last thing, but you will never pass an exam if you miss anything. He remember faces, he cannot hear well, but if you miss the class, he will not put you mark, and then you should go back and again and again. And what I did, I cut myself a French, and he didn't recognize me. And he came like, okay, everybody passed this automatically because you were going so regular. And you, I see you for the first time, you will come and try to pass this till the rest of your days. I was like, I came to the dean and I told like, I was going, I swear, I was going. And he was like, I give you a hint. He's teaching yoga. He one of the first men that went to India, and he started and he actually, that I learned later, he wrote a book. And with his pictures, he was 70 or something, but super fit and nice. Like, of course, age takes, but still very sharp even to teach in university. Right. So my dean told, go to his yoga classes. He might remember you from there. And then he will forgive you that you were like kind of not going to his classes. So that's how first time ever I came with a friend. And we came like, you know, like in a gym. That days it was like, you know, this kind of a swimming suits, like like this aerobic style. Yeah. So we came like this with people like, we were like, what the hell? And then my friend Sneva came and I started to get interested. I got his book.
Right.
And then I got very sick. I got like a tonsils inflammation. Right. And I treated myself with yoga, with some pranayamas, some cleansing and so on, because it was supposed to be an operation. And I skipped that because of the yoga. So I trusted it not only like a physic activity to get fitter, but actually that can heal your soul, and through the soul it can treat your body. And then I was on and off, of course, like through the life. I practiced in Portugal a little bit, and of course India, it's just a place to practice it and practice and study. So I got my child in India. And when she was just born, she was like so perfect and calm kid that I was thinking like, okay, now I have time to actually do something with her on my arms. I went to yoga shala and I got this teacher training course. She was like listening to all of the lections and so on. So then I became a teacher, and now I teach online because of these times. But actually, that also thanks to Corona, I started to teach in general much more actively, because that was my idea that probably I cannot help everybody now, but that's a little bit a way to keep sane. When it was the first lockdown, I just started, I went out and I started to teach free, and now I'm addicted. I think I cannot practice yoga without talking now.
Wow. Is your audience mainly Russian?
Russian, I teach through Instagram, through live streams, and I have few English-speaking students that I teach on Zoom.
Right. And are you just teaching classes, or are you also teaching them, or teaching some of them to become teachers?
No. For teacher training, you need to be authorized trainer for teachers.
Right, I see. Okay.
And then you also need to be very specific with the direction of yoga you teach. Okay. So I still, I can be experimental, even if I taught to be a classic hatha yoga. So I can do like, okay, today we put elements of vinyasa, today animal flow or something like this.
So you can introduce styles and mix stuff up.
Yes.
Right. But that's your thing, right? Like nobody told you. You just like makes sense to start mixing some things that make sense for you, right?
Yeah. You know, in India and in yoga, I understand that sometimes we too much focused on things that we know. We need to know for sure how it is and so on. But here's a lot of feeling. So basically now I do what I feel, And sometimes, like for example, after Monday class, we started to talk with my students about the connection of planets and days of the week, because like for example Monday is the moon day and so on, and then the girl like, oh, I felt so much in the practice you gave that you were working with the moon energy. And I was like, then I looked back and I was like, yes, we did a lot of like opening of the hips, we did twists and so on. I was like, but then I was doing just what I was feeling. So because of course the planets influence on us and so on. And that's why in a practice you can try everything as long as it feels right.
Right. So it's a very intuitive thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the energy influences your intuition, and then you practice.
No, when it is based on knowledges, of course, then it's how it works. You need to have a base of knowledge, and not only in yoga but also in like anatomy, and because the people can have some I don't know, some limits, like by birth or by the structure or by like hurting themselves.
By not moving, maybe they have some limitations, maybe they have some pains.
I have one student that was sure he's in the best physical form playing tennis, but then I asked him to bend forward and he couldn't reach it. Like, really? I cannot do it? Because he never had to do this, right? And
please,
I was like, what?
do not make fun of those people, because I am also one of those
people.
No,
I don't make fun.
I'm
we
joking,
work on it, and it's like so interesting that now he is practicing with me. And one thing that I want to underline, he wrote for me, like, first of all, he became more flexible, and then he told, like, usually my morning was a nightmare, that I wake up to kids, like go here, go there, brush your teeth, eat. But now kids know that I have my yoga class. They wake up, they do their thing. Papa is doing yoga, you know, because they respect this kind of. Kids also know me, and kind of they respect this thing, and then they like give Papa the time, and it's amazing that this small thing can change someone's life. No,
for sure. That's why, like, I don't practice yoga, but I am interested in the near future to also start practicing some, only because, and not just yoga, but many others, but yoga especially, because it's such a, of course you practice your body, but it's very much internal as well. And that small change will affect everything that you do, right? So I can recognize the value of that, and I can recognize how beneficial it is. I think I've never met one person that said something bad about yoga.
No, yoga, you see, yoga is a lifestyle.
Exactly.
And it's like
it becomes every day, or like every time, at all times, right?
No, yoga, the word yoga is actually it's a connection. When you connect with yourself, when you connect with the universe. This is not the asanas or anything. So word yoga, for example, in what is this, Jyotish, it is like astrology, but Indian astrology.
Okay.
This is like a yoga of planets, for example, connection of planets.
Okay.
And it's like much wider. So you can not practice asanas, but you can practice yoga. So it's much more than that. So when you practice your physical activity, for example, with jumping or so on, you very much feel your body, right? So you need to connect with your breath to do the handstand.
Yes.
But do you practice yoga or not? Of course you do. You just don't name it.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, it's the same with like anything that you do is movement, right? So when you practice, you're doing movement. Even if it's yoga, it can be gymnastics, but it's movement. On top of everything, it's movement. So that's the similarity, because yoga is every day, every time, everything type of activity. Did you study also the religions there, or is the religion part of the yoga thing? It can be practiced separately, or just one?
You see, you can go deeper to the spiritual side, or you can keep it as a support. Of course, it's a lot of philosophy, but not necessarily you become a Hindu or anything else. So they don't give you that philosophy. They more teach you like the basic, how by Vedas, how the world is structured, how the energy works, how the body works, that we don't only have like a physical body but spiritual body and so on. But it's your choice to follow it or not follow it. I can eat meat sometimes, like even if, like, for example, for meditation is bad, but for my body it's good. because I study Ayurveda also, and then I need to make a choice. So I call myself flexitarian. Flexible, you know. If my father-in-law or my father cook a big like a steak, of course I will have it. But then if it's my own choice, I will not order it in a restaurant. So I will not cook it myself.
Yeah.
So
if it's presented to you, then you accept it. If you have to choose, I also did that there was a time when I was vegan, and I did enjoy it, but I called myself a cheat vegan, right? Why? Because when I go to my mother's place, if she's cooking some rabbit or she's cooking some meat, I'm not going to say no. Of course, it's my mother's food. It's delicious. I'm not going to say no. So I can understand that perfectly, of course. And like you said, and that was very interesting. For meditation, for instance, meat is not good, but it's good for your body. Because again, ideals apart, if you separate yourself from the ideals, if you go and look at the facts, meat has its importance. Whether you agree or not agree, for instance, a vegan would probably not agree.
They already clicked the button stop. They're not watching us anymore.
you can sustain your body with a vegan diet, and I know this because I also did it. But I also know that in some aspects, you need meat occasionally, not every day, not all the time, not like 2 meals a day of meat, of course not. But maybe you do need meat sometimes if you work out too much, or stuff like that. Like there are some instances where your body needs meat. Also,
you should use a lot of intuition with your diet.
Yes, you just feel like, for instance, there was this guy that I started like a long time ago. I started studying some of his stuff, and he was saying, when I exercise, my body needs meat. My body tells me that I need meat. But if I'm not working out, if I'm resting, I just do like a vegan day because I need the vegetables to recover and to bring down the inflammations and stuff like that. And I started thinking, that actually makes sense. And I started listening to my body. And actually, if I work out, for instance, I do need meat and I do need a lot of protein, and I do. But
I need carbs. If I don't eat, like Portugal is the best place
Portugal
for
is
carbs.
paradise for carbs.
Yes.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, I almost learn all the names of different pastries. And now I speak Portuguese a little bit, so now I come to cafe and I can order all the sweets like pão de Deus.
Oh my God, pão de Deus with the cheese and butter. Oh,
yes, exactly.
It's paradise.
No, so when I don't eat, mostly I like bread actually, raw bread. Yeah, and I don't feel energy. I don't have energy to exercise. As we also touched a little bit, I started Animal Flow.
Yes.
And it's actually talking about religion, not religion. I also on and off. Sometimes I'm much more into meditation and philosophy and so on. But now I'm in a stage of my life when I want to learn a little bit about my body and how it works and so on. So I started to practice and now on the way to become a teacher of Animal Flow. And this is actually a very interesting combination of yoga, capoeira, dancing, and this sort of the interval training,
right?
Like when you also work with your own weight. I forgot the name, whatever. So then it's interesting that also a lot of people think that this is Animal Flow because you repeat after animals and you move like animal, but actually it's evoking of your inner animal. So you work with your energy, and like you learn how, for example, to hover, not just because the body goes like this. You breathe, you put a lot of energy. That's what I like, that connection with yoga. And it's much more physical because I usually practice much wilder practices like meditation and but this is like hardcore, like more closer to Ashtanga,
right?
But still very ergonomic. For example, when I went to body ballet, even if it's like a ballet dance in Russia, it's very popular now. I was fine because I'm flexible, but I hate it because it was all against the nature. Because your lower back need to be open that your knees will be rotated that way, and I was like, no, that's against nature.
The perfect
It's like,
form.
yeah, that's just like hurting yourself, damaging yourself.
Yeah.
I know, but this I really like. I know that you're also interested in the.
Yeah, I was gonna do it, but I sent some messages to the people, but they didn't reply, and I ended up just forgetting. I was interested. Maybe I'm more interested in similar practices. There's something called MoveNet.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that makes more sense to me. It's closer to parkour as well, and it's more. They have more. It's more widespread. The animal flow thing is more. It's a more condensed thing. It's kind of like a transformation of the locomotion patterns into a body weight workout kind of thing. Kind of, which is also interesting. Then that's why I wanted to do it, but because it wasn't on my priority list, and because I forget sometimes stuff, I just forgot.
Yeah, which is I was going to make it here in Lisbon, and because of the pandemic times, it was cancelled.
But I think it happened here in Lisbon. That's the thing.
In the end of October, I know. But
Yeah.
before that, I went to Russia, and I came on Monday, and next weekend that was the teacher training course,
Right.
and I just went for that.
Beautiful, of course.
Yeah, it was just luck, and I really like that. Anyway, even if I speak English, I can understand, and probably I could break through Portuguese, but to get this fundamental knowledge, good to get it on your own language. So that was really interesting, but now
Very
I
nice.
still need to do an exam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did the theoretical part, but now we
Okay.
need to do a video of yourself doing flows and different movements according to the protocol, and then you
Right.
need to do the video of you teaching someone. Maybe you can be my student.
Well, it's on camera, so now I need to say yes.
Okay.
No, but yeah, sure, of course. I can be your test subject.
Yeah, let's
sure.
let's do. So then that should be also recorded.
Why not? Let's go back to something because I forgot to ask you, and this has nothing to do with anything, but it's something that I noticed. It's that there's in the last maybe 10 years there's been a lot of interest in Portugal from people outside Portugal.
Yes.
And this is just a curiosity thing for me. There's a lot of Russian people coming to Portugal to invest, right? Either in more serious businesses or not so serious businesses, whatever, lifestyle stuff. My question is, how is Portugal seen, or what do people know about Portugal, for instance, in Russia, that makes them attracted to come here? Of course, let's not talk about the weather and all that stuff, of course, and the food, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of business, because also, stuff like Beta E and what's it called? The Web Summit, everything is happening here. Why? Why do you think?
You see, I think now I'm a little bit wrong person to answer this question because I've been out from Russia for 10 years. Yeah, I speak with people that actually also, not that I can charge a majority based on what they say. What I know that a lot of markets already exhausted, also the fact that people speak English here and that they are not that spoiled and arrogant like for example in France or in Spain. And then it's more or less clear bureaucracy. It's a lot, but to compare with Russia, it's same. We will touch that topic, but I'm trying to start my business now here in Portugal in production for jewelry, and in some ways it's like by understanding that can be needed paper that confirm that you have paper that confirm the paper. If you have it in your mind that you need that much documents, it's already easier. So in Russia, it's a lot of this bureaucracy processes as well as here. So it's a little bit similar to us. So we're not like freaked out, like Swedish people, for example, they send the email, they get a contract. You need to sign stamps and put your fingerprint and I don't know, register there here. But anyway, you're not allowing me to say that the weather, food, and so on. But why not? People now, again, even because thanks to pandemic times, they try to do their business where they want to live, right? So this is a perfect place where you probably want to go back, you want to spend more time, and then you are looking for business and investment opportunities here, and not to be forgotten this new rule of this golden visa or something, that if you invest certain thing,
Right.
because Russian passports is actually one of the worstest. You need visas everywhere, and
Right. Okay. Yeah.
so then it's
that
the
makes
ticket to freedom, kind of, that you need to.
Yeah. No, because like for instance, for me, because I already lived abroad many years and in many places, I kind of understand, but still there's my Portuguese side that thinks, wow, like people from outside Portugal are looking at Portugal as an opportunity to do something. Why don't Portuguese people look at Portugal as an opportunity to do something, right?
You are very chilled, you know. I was also
Too
thinking. No, I was thinking, but after India also I was thinking like, then why? When I came here 10 years back.
Yeah.
I was also like coming from Russia, full of ambitions and projects,
Right.
and then I met people like, okay, 5 o'clock, office shut down, I go to surf. Now I think it's brilliant. That's how you should live, people. Exactly like this. You need to do your work nice, then to do what you like to do, and you have everything for that.
That's
like
true.
For example, let's say like, oh, let's conquer the world, let's earn all the money, and then we will relax and surf.
Right.
Why not to do it now?
Yeah.
And I actually almost envious that you guys are given with all these gifts of nature by the birth, and people who can value it. It's incredible. You know, like, of course you can try to, but you should go with your inner feeling. Of course, if you want to become the richest of the most famous, go for it. But then to go and enjoy the nature, enjoy your family, enjoy your food. Isn't that why we are living for?
Yeah, of course. No, but that's the thing. Like, that's why I like when people come from abroad to do stuff in Portugal, is because they value what Portugal has to offer.
Yeah.
Not only in terms of business, in terms of nature, because everybody goes surfing or goes hiking or goes exploring.
Sailing.
And we Portuguese people usually do not. They can, because it's here, it's there. They can do it. They don't do it. They don't imagine. They don't think about it. They don't value. They don't crave to use Portugal like everybody that comes from outside uses Portugal. So it's kind of like, it's this thing of like this unbalance of living here and not valuing. Most people don't do it. They just prefer to finish the day and go drink beer.
That's bad.
It's part of, it's part of the culture, unfortunately, to just drink beer, right?
Yeah, but then if you do like kind
But
of,
there's so much, you know, right? There's
so much
more.
so much more to do, so much more to
more.
explore.
Yeah.
But now all bars are closed. You know, maybe that's why the
There's
pandemic
no chance
time would
now.
be.
How before we get to the jewelry, just how difficult or how not so easy has it been to travel around? Because you're still traveling around. With this Corona thing, is it easy? You know, when it's not just you, it's you and your family traveling around.
It is quite difficult, and I think now it is the element of a little bit of this test and uncertainties, and that people don't know how it should be done, when, and so on.
Yeah.
It brings a lot of uncertainties. Uncertainty brings uncertainty. Do I need the test? When do I need the test? Like, we fucked up a lot of times. Like, we had to buy new tickets because, like, we were told that to Portugal we don't need to do a test for our child.
Right.
Then we came, and then no one asked before we boarded. And when we boarded, they said, like, you cannot go. So we had to stay more days in Turkey, buy new tickets, and it's just my story. It's like plenty of my friends went to similar things. Like, they come, they have a connection flight, but for the time of connection flight, their test is already more than 72 hours. They don't allow them, but they were not leaving the airport, and they were like there for 10 hours, and like, this is so complicated. Now also, my husband was flying back to Russia for work. We call here in Portugal for corona test. They say the result will come from 48 to 72 hours. We were like, but if it takes 72 hours to do the test, the moment you give it to us, that is not valid anymore.
It's not valid.
And they were like, but this is like, I was like, do you understand? I talked with in Portuguese. I was thinking maybe I mixed the numbers. I like, can I ask you in English? So and they were like, yeah, but this is by our protocol. But do you understand? There's no logic in it. Like, but we cannot do anything about it. That was like, but then my husband was in Geneva already, and they didn't let him to board before printed copy of the test. But before we went to Russia 1 month back. We didn't need the print. That what I'm trying to say, that if we know what to do, even if it's complicated, it's one thing. But when you just don't know this, that, they change and.
I think
tiring.
nobody knows what to do. That's the problem. Right now here in Portugal there are new rules now. From this week onwards, the next 2 weeks, there's new confinement rules and curfew, and you cannot go out on weekends after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They makes no sense whatsoever. They're just guessing. They're trying to guess a way of controlling the virus. But it's very retarded. It's
here
stupid.
I cannot understand why kids' playgrounds are still closed. Yes,
Some of them,
but
yeah.
Restaurants and bars are open. So then you come to the place and my kid, I want to play and so on. We break the rules. Here in Santa Caterina, we open the gate and she goes in. So
No,
take me to prison.
Makes no sense. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Here in Portugal, unfortunately, nobody knows. And
Anywhere. We usually tend to blame our own country. I also was like, something happened, like, oh, that's only in Russia, like, what? We have a funny joke actually that a few days back, that was an election when the American people elected the person that now from 4 next years will be guilty for all bad that happened in Russia.
yeah, yeah.
So I think it's hilarious.
Curiously enough, Biden was elected, and now there's a vaccine almost ready to go out. Very nice timing. One day this, the other day that. Coincidence? I don't know.
Yeah, because now,
Let's wait and see.
But see, like even when in normal life we are usually saying to each other, yeah, we had this problem or that problem because of Corona, but let's take an advantage of it, right?
Right, exactly.
Same here, like politics also try to do to make the advantage, and
Of course.
and like I don't think it's anything to blame. This is how that works. You have an opportunity, you use it or you lose it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's not talk about politics.
No.
Let's talk about jewelry, for instance, which is a much better topic. And I would like you to introduce your jewelry and talk me something about your concept. Because I don't know much, especially about jewelry, because it's naturally not.
Me neither.
I could be interested in jewelry, but I'm not. Because
I also don't know anything about jewelry.
how did that happen then? What made the click inside your mind? Like, I'm gonna start making jewelry.
Let's see. As we also just talked about, I was working for sailing world, and it's very kind of rough business. You need to work your reputation through, work hard, like to prove that you just not jumping with your camera, but you're a good photographer. You need to get through, like get well paid. That is like you, and then it's quite aggressive world of competition for men, and then like being a girl was also quite challenging sometimes, and you need to be super strong and be very like self-protected and fight all the time and have a lot of this sun male energy. But then on some time of my life, like I got a child, I started to slow down. I tried to go back to active sport photography since I got Lydia. I was doing the international surfing competitions in India and some sailing and traveled a bit. But then I felt like that's not me anymore. I want to have something completely opposite and probably to put more female energy to it, work something that also will work with my philosophy with yoga and kind of love yourself and so on. And I was thinking that also combining with the idea of sustainability, of upcycling, recycling, all of this, what can it be? of course, something that probably, as for any woman, something that makes you feel good, look good, and so on. And then it's like slowly came to an idea that it can be jewelry. So one of my friend, she is running the big shop in Russia that sells antique things from Europe to Russia, like plates and pots and like basically everything she can find interesting stuff on flea markets or auctions or anything. She shipped it to Russia and very successfully selling it because it's good for interior and for people who want to make their house more interesting.
Very good idea.
And she told me like, see, we have so many broken plates like that. They're so beautiful designs, but like they cheap, they cut, they broken, and I'm selling it for nothing, or I need to throw it away. She tried to drill a little piece of it herself, and she brought it to Sri Lanka, where I was when Lydia was 2 months. We decided, all family, we went to Sri Lanka, invited our parents just to be for like 4 months there.
Wow.
Yes, and she came to visit me with these things. And we looked at it like, fine, I found a jeweler in Sri Lanka. We went and there we do the first sample.
Okay.
And I did, but like we were thinking to make it just as simple as possible, just to highlight the beauty of the plates. I will come back to it later. So we did a prototype like 2.5 years back probably, but then it was kind of an idea. We were thinking how to do and so on. So then she decided she don't want to deal with that anymore, and I kept it to myself. So we moved from India now to Russia, and that was like, I felt that the Russian market can be interested in this kind of product as well as European. And because like one thing is, of course, I want to do beautiful things, but not to be forgotten that with a strong Saturn person, I have to earn money. So this is also business for me. So I was looking for an opportunity to combine all these things. So then this is things that make you feel good, look good. This is upcycling, that reusable, that is something that you cannot use by the first idea, you reuse it, and then it is a business for me. So this is how I came to jewelry, and I don't have anything, I don't know anything about how it works. So now it's first steps. We just registered all the documents in Russia, and I have opened the first shop, not on my own, but it's like few Russian designers actually that I'm very proud to be among them, because they're super cool. They're already established on the market, and me. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, and
no, that's nice.
And we also trying to sell the philosophy, to push the philosophy of Swedishness and lagom, as my husband is Swedish, and lagom is talking about like life at home, like IKEA, you know, like at home, coziness, upcycling, recycling, reusable. Value, family values, and so on, that also comes with this jewelry. So we started the registration, and everything is already done in Russia. And now, dear people, if you know anyone that knows anything about jewelry production in Portugal, I need a lot of help and support, because my language is not good enough, and I don't have connections. So I want to start producing here, because I actually have a Portuguese passport. So that's my duty now also to contribute to economy. So that's why I want to start the production here, and from here I want to sell to Europe. Because now to bring it through Russia, Russia to here, from here to Russia, not worth it.
Amazing.
So we probably go to Porto and look for some factories that can do.
In the north, that's where they do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just made a new. Wait to show new boxes here in Portugal. So it's from recycling paper also.
Right. That's nice.
The tallrik, it's the name that mean plate in Swedish, and one it's 1 out of 1. You know how they sign arts, like for example, second copy from the 100 copies or something, but this is 1 out of 1.
1 out of 1,
yes, because all of them are unique.
Exactly.
As you can see, they are done from the fragment of different plates, and different plates that were done in different times, in different factories, in different countries even, and used by different people. They still have like marks of knives and forks. These cracks that like on Mona Lisa
So nice.
painting, you know, you can see. And then we do just very simple designs that is basically just good framing of already perfect pieces.
Right.
And sometimes they are not straight because it's, for example, I like this part of a design, but that was just on the edge of the soup plate. It can be cup or anything, like anything that I can actually drill. And yeah, so that's what we do. And this one actually was done in Portugal. We do some sampling here.
You probably thought about this, but this can work very well if what you put inside is the Portuguese tiles.
See, but this is a little bit, that's a lot of similar, more or less, things. Like, for example, you can even see in Ferra de Ladra, they put the the picture of tiles. We
Right.
found very interesting Portuguese plates that was produced in Sacavém.
Okay.
Some of designs are same like European, like
Right,
this chinoiseries, for example, when all these Chinese porcelain became very popular. You know, actually, I just learned recently that blue and white color in dishes, in porcelain, in cups, pots and pans, became popular when Portuguese ship was how to say, hunted by Italians, and or I make a mistake. So basically, Portuguese ship was bringing these goods from China,
Right.
and that was all stolen from them.
Some pirates.
So,
maybe.
some pirates, yes.
Right.
And then they discovered a lot of this Chinese porcelain. I need to look more details on it, but this is how it started to be
Wow.
famous.
Wow.
This is cobalt paint that
Yeah.
now is super popular in Russia. We have also gel art that's also white and blue, and that's why exactly this color is very popular. So I want to read on this, because then what I do, you see, it's like most of the things we have white and
white and blue.
blue. So
that's why I thought about the tiles, right?
Yes, yes,
like,
but
this
that's
is-
why tiles as well, because it's a lot of influence from
For sure.
Asia. Yeah, so it's that's why it's interesting for me actually to produce in Portugal, because Portugal is the country of discoveries. Basically, all that we discovered from India, from China, started from here. So that's why it is not strange that a Russian girl starting producing Swedish brand in Portugal, you know, because we kind
What
of
a nice mix. But that's the thing. The mix is what makes things happen. I'm very much into that. Like mixing stuff. What makes sense to the people that is creating, the people that are creating, mixing stuff up and creating something that is unique or different or original or that pushes the boundaries or just like a different concept. If you just go one way, it's never really too much. But if you start blending, then it becomes something. That's you cannot look at this right now because the camera is small, but there will be links in the description, obviously, for you to watch and share and hopefully buy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah,
But
very nice
surprisingly,
actually.
we did a test sale here in Portugal in Firel. It's the village between on the way to Baleal where we surf. Yeah, it is a really like kind of small street shop by Mama. Actually, it's a very nice place. But the girl was saying like, oh, no one will buy. It's too expensive, and what kind of tourists we have here. I was like, I know the owner, like let's try. And we in 1 week we sold already 3 pieces. So I feel it's very potential, but I have to find a way to produce here in Portugal now. So this is my goal for the next months.
Wow.
We go to Porto in the end of November to see some factories. So
Nice.
And yeah, that's the story. And also talking about you asked how did I come to doing jewelry and so on.
Yeah.
So also sometimes in your life you want to challenge yourself, yeah.
Right.
So from like free mind photographer, like sail the world here and there, now I need to become a completely different person. Structurized, settle, go into details like how to arrange that with all the documents, all the like taxes or like registrations and so on, because it's actually silver, should be stamped and registered and so on. It's a big challenge for me, but so far I enjoy it, but I do need help.
Yeah, of course. People cannot do everything on their own by themselves, right? You always need some type of help or connection to make things.
No, in Russia I'm very happy to get the very nice and active team that also not only want to do it for work, but they like the jewelry, they like the concept, because this is also like you enjoy your business and you enjoy people around. It's very important.
That's the thing, like, that's why I wanted to do this conversation with you, because I mean, I don't know you or all your life, but it seems that
no, almost.
it seems that all these years that pass by are some parts are like different phases of your life, but you can always do that, and then you can project your proactivity and your need or your feeling for searching for challenges, and you can project that into stuff that builds up and sustains and develops. And that's very interesting, because it's completely different stuff, like sailing jewelry. There's no connection here, but maybe there is. The connection is you, right? Your life connects to all these different things, and that's very interesting.
But you know, it's good and bad. Like as all people, I also tend to kind of be critical to myself, and I think like if I would put all my energy for like sailing photography, don't give up, like for example, choose this time not studying yoga but probably post my pictures, print books, like send my portfolios, organize exhibitions and so on, that probably I will become someone. Or like for example, like, or if I would continue corporate, I was very successful corporate, like probably, but then there should not be probably. That should be just your life. But this is also sometimes you should be very brave to start things from the beginning. Like for example, I was number 3 ranked in Europe as a photographer, number 3 in Russia, and like at 20 best sailing photographers in Europe. But now I'm no one in jewelry. Hello, you know, like, and except like when people ask you, what do you do? Before I was saying like, I'm a sailing photographer, or I'm a yoga teacher. Now I'm kind of jewelry producer, designer, I don't know what, and but that's, I should accept, yes, I start up the new thing, and you should be brave. But even I, like you say, like, oh, you do this, I tend to kind of blame myself, eat myself and so on sometimes, but you need to get a lot of courage and energy actually to start new things. And
but I think it comes down to some bravery, of course, but you need to make a decision, right? And when you make a decision, you go forward. You don't get afraid of what if like if you need to make a mistake, just accept the mistake, because you need mistakes, you know, like the same way you need, you know, you have daylight because you have night, you have fire because you have water. So if you want to make successful things, you probably need to make some mistakes as well. And
you notice we became very philosophical today. Is it my influence?
maybe. No, but it's, that's what I feel, and you're a perfect example of that. That's why I wanted to have you in this conversation. Sure. Anything else that you think we need to tell the people?
No, I think we talked enough.
We already talked a lot,
for people like to stop this video for a few times. But I just want to say that I'm super privileged and happy to be here. And I, especially now, I value this country so much, that giving me and my family home. Of course, I am Russian, I like Russia and so on, but I'm very grateful for the place that give me opportunity to live very good life with opportunities to develop myself. And now my big goal is actually to start this project, and also to practice yoga and keep on here. And I really wish that I can be more connected to Portuguese people that I actually miss now and speak better Portuguese. So
Soon. It's gonna happen. Great. I'm gonna switch back to Portuguese now, just for the finish. Pessoal, isto é um exemplo perfeito de uma pessoa que vê oportunidades e investe nelas. Eu sei que para nós às vezes é mais complicado porque não temos a mesma visão, mas se nos abstrairmos disso e olharmos de cima, da mesma forma que ela viu oportunidades, e não é só em Portugal, tipo na vida, vocês também podem ver essas oportunidades. Eu gosto de pessoas que tenham esse interesse em vingar e em vencer e em ganhar e em avançar, e ela é o perfeito exemplo disso. Não tem nada a ver com nada, mas tem a ver com tudo ao mesmo tempo. Obrigado, thank you.
welcome.
And hopefully we'll do this sometime later to see what happened with your investment, with your ideas, with your thoughts. Right?
Ao sabor de vento. See?
Also what?
Sabor de vento.
Sabor de vento. Okay.
Yes. So let's see how it goes.
Let's see. Ao sabor do vento, of course. I had no idea. Like, how do you know those things? What?
Yes.
Pessoal, obrigado. Vai estar tudo na descrição. A cena de yoga dela, a cena das joias, todos os projetos dela vão estar lá em baixo. Está bem? Obrigado.
Tchau, tchau.
Tchau.